All right, everyone, we're going to get started today. So first, thank you for joining us for our Hospitality, Tourism, and Event Management Open House. We're glad you could join us in this virtual experience today. I want to just introduce a couple of folks that are going to be sharing information with you today. First, we have Enrico DeRoy, who is Assistant Director of Admissions for Stockton. We also have Tara Marsh. She is the HTMS Internship Coordinator. We have Daniela McCarthy, who supports our entire School of Business. And we have 3 students here today to share a little bit about their experiences with Stockton and specifically the hospitality program here. We'll have Kathleen Monahan, Nicole Vaccarella, and Michael Misko. So to get us started today, I'm actually going to pass it over to Enrico.
Thank you, Noel, Dr. Noel. Everyone out there, welcome to our virtual HTMS event management event. I think this will be a great way for you to find out a little bit about Stockton University, as well as our great HTMS hospitality program that we currently have. So first thing, welcome to Stockton University. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions. I am also the transfer counselor here for Stockton University. I deal mostly with transfer students up in North Jersey, but for today I am your admissions representative, and I will briefly go over a couple of admissions things because some of you are accepted, some of you are planning to apply, some of you are still in high school, some of you are transfer students. So this is basically for everyone that is interested in getting to know Stockton. In front of you, this is our beautiful campus, okay? I actually miss it. I haven't been there for a while, so I do miss it. It is a beautiful 1,600-acre campus. It's in the Pineland National Reserve. It is by far one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever stepped on, in my lifetime. So it is a beautiful campus. Once we are back to normal, hopefully you can visit us and visit this beautiful campus. If you, since that you cannot visit us, you can always go to our website. We have virtual videos going on that you can have access to if you're interested in staying in, the dorms. This is my mouse here. This is the campus center that is located and some of the classrooms that are here. And then over here we have our Big Blue Stadium. And then we have our brand new health science, where it's a year old now, Unified Health Science Center here. All right. Now, as you guys know, we also have, beachfront living and learning. We are located in the heart of Atlantic City. As you can see right here where my mouse is pointing, this is all water. All right, and right here, all of the dorm rooms that you can actually stay at, both freshmen and transfer students are allowed to fill out a housing application and request a housing in Atlantic City. Okay, so this is available to all. It is very limited. I want to be transparent, but don't discourage from applying there. It's a beautiful site. Most of our students have literally beachfront, oceanfront views out of their dorm rooms. Over here, where my mouse is here, is the academic building where the classrooms are located. So students simply can walk directly to their classroom and have easy access to classes. Here at the Atlantic City campus, we also have shuttle buses that go back and forth. So you're asking me probably right now, okay, so do I just stay at Atlantic City or do I stay at the Galloway campus? It is, whatever is available, number one, and then your choice of where you want to stay. Typically, if you are an incoming freshman, I was suggesting at the Galloway campus, as there are a lot of clubs, organizations get integrated. And then as you, matriculate into a sophomore or junior, then, request Atlantic City, especially if you're a hospitality major, because there's a lot of great internships, opportunities in Atlantic City that will be highlighted a little bit later. As far as transportation goes, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for each shuttle to go back and forth, and they run about every half an hour. So it's not bad at all. A lot of our students utilize that to go back and forth. All right, so This is, you're probably going to ask, how many students stay on campus, how many students stay off campus, and how many students, commute? Well, as you can see, 1/3 of students stay on campus, 1/3 of students stay off campus, and 1/3 commute. So what does that mean? About roughly 2/3 of our student populations are basically on campus because the off-campus housing is in proximity to our university. So 2/3 of our students live on campus. So that highlights a lot of events that go on. It's not just a commuter school. So if you are interested in staying on campus, rest assured that, majority of our students will be in or around the campus. Now there's a little asterisk right here that says cars allowed. I get this question a lot when I go out, on my college fairs, and cars are allowed on campus and they're also free. I don't like to use the word free, but they're included within your tuition and fees, meaning that you can park your car right on campus, whether you're dorming or commuting, and it is no additional parking charge, as most universities do charge that. So I did want to mention that. All right, so this is actually my favorite part, which is only just one slide, but it's important. This is why you're coming to college, right? We have over 160 areas of studies, and one of them is our hospitality program, which will be highlighted today. And this is why most students choose the college, to choose, first who has my academic program. I love this right here, Stockton student faculty ratio. At Stockton University, we do not have large, lecture. We have a limited of large lecture classes. And the reason why is because we feel like at Stockton, the student faculty ratio should be around 17:1, which it is here. And we have great faculty members that are part of this virtual experience, and will highlight how they interact directly with the students and how they build a relationship with the students. Majority of the students that come to me after they enroll, they tell me, one of the first things they tell me is the relationship that they build with the faculty member, which is so important if you're choosing between certain colleges. Right now, Stockton University has the highest percentage of courses taught by full-time faculty out of all the New Jersey public colleges and universities, which is very important because you do want to have that access, with office hours if you are struggling in your class with your faculty members. If any of the students ever come to me, and they haven't so far, but if they come to me and they tell me, I am bored at Stockton University, the first thing I would do is go, what's happening at Stockton via social media, on our website. We have over 10,000 events each year. So now I understand that with all the pandemic and everything that's going on right now, we don't know how many events we're going to have, right? So, but as far as the past goes, and hopefully things do come back to normal, we usually do have 10,000 events. We have over 200 ways of getting involved. That means clubs, organizations, Greek life. If you want to join the sports, intramural clubs and sports. We have 19 NCAA Division III varsity sports, which I highlighted that, in the Big Blue, a majority of them get played in the Big Blue, where a lot of us go and see our fellow students play. There are a lot of activities to be done off campus. I cannot express to you how much joy it brings to me when I see students involved in clubs and organizations. Get involved early. The moment you step foot on Stockton's campus, I would say find out more information about ways of getting involved. This will basically help you throughout your entire time at Stockton. Now, admissions, financial aid, and scholarships, okay? For some of you, for those of you who have not yet applied to Stockton, okay, if you are a freshman, we do have the Common App available, which is right here, okay? If you are a transfer student, you cannot apply via the Common App, but you can apply online. Right now, we are waiving all applications. So for those of you who have not yet applied to Stockton, it will be a free application. Just follow our stockton.edu/apply, follow the steps. At the end of the application, it will ask you for a coupon code, and you will put Finish Strong 2020. You can add that on to the application fee waiver. It is very important for those of you who have not yet applied to Stockton University. So, all right, like I said, the application fee is waived, so do not pay attention to the $50 application fee. For students that are currently in high school, we need standard SAT scores, ACT scores, essay, and a recommendation letter. For most of you, you guys, if you are seniors, you probably have already applied, and I'm not going to spend that much time with you with this because you're probably already past this point. Our deadlines have changed. Okay, they are June 1st deadlines, so they are changed now. Due to the COVID pandemic. So you do have a fall enrollment confirmation, which is June 1st. So if you are interested, if you are an accepted student and you haven't deposited yet, you do have till June 1st to submit that acceptance deposit, okay? Now, we do have holistic review for those of you who are not yet accepted to Stockton. And some of the things are, you know, your readiness to do college level work, high school strength of curriculum. We look at the entire picture. We look at your letters of recommendations, your essays. We look at your SAT scores if you have. We are test optional. So if you do not have it or you do not choose to submit it, we can also review those applications based on the majors or the programs. And we have all this information on our website. So definitely, you know, get familiar with our websites. For transfers, for those of you who are transfer students, I always like to say this, you can deal with me directly, and you can email me directly with any questions you have, and I can, you know, reach out to you via phone, Zoom interview, and we can kind of go over all of this, the transfer process directly, okay? Now, this is the last thing I'm gonna go over, okay, is cost, right? One of the most important things that a student will, you know, look at is cost. How much does it cost me to go to Stockton University? As of fall 2019, the tuition and fees is $14,317. Room and board is $12,542. For total cost for a freshman is about $26,859. The reason why I say freshman is because this room and board means that a meal plan is included, okay? Freshmen have a very limited option of choosing their housing. You know, you can contact housing at housing@stockton.edu for more information, and you can check our website of the different housing available for freshmen. For transfers, it's a little bit more flexible. For example, Housing One does have a full kitchen, so you do not need to get the meal plan. It's an option that you can get the meal plan, and on our website, it highlights the different costs of meal plans. So you can actually save a lot of money depending on which meal plan you choose, or if you just want to make your own food as you go along. So this $26,000 can be, you know, $21,000, $22,000, $23,000, $24,000, $25,000, depending on which meal plan you choose, or if you choose a meal plan at all. Out-of-state students, I don't know if there's out-of-state students here. Of course, the total would be $34,147 because the tuition and fees for out-of-state students is a little bit more. So you're asking yourself, all right, how can we afford all of this, right? Great question. So what we can do is we can look at scholarships, okay? That is the first line that we're gonna look at. Now, you do not have to apply for any of these scholarships. I wanna make this clear. Once you apply to Stockton, you will get the scholarship information right away. For those of you who have, you know, already get accepted to Stockton University, you must have received your scholarship notification in your acceptance package, okay? So definitely review your acceptance package to see. All right, now, for those of you who are out of state, as you can tell, this is the requirements for out of state. And these are some of the requirements for scholarships. An out-of-state student can combine, if they're out-of-state scholarship and then they also qualify for the Dean scholarship, they can combine that for any out-of-state students. All right. The other scholarships you cannot combine. If you get a Stockton scholarship, that's all you get, a Stockton scholarship. All right. Now the transfer scholarships are a little bit different. Okay. These are the transfer scholarship. They start off at an academic GPA of 3.59 and they must have at least 24 credits or more. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because you can actually get this all on our website. I'm just giving you these resources to show you that it is a very affordable, Stockton is a very affordable option. We are a state university, right? So what does that mean? That means that we are highly discounted to begin with. And then on top of that, we also have scholarships available for both freshmen and transfer, okay? Then after we look at what scholarships are available, the next step is financial aid, okay? I would highly recommend for those of you who have not yet filled out the FAFSA to fill out a FAFSA as soon as you can. Now, this is the information of our school code and FAFSA.gov if you would like to fill out your FAFSA. Once you fill out your FAFSA, we can then see what type of Pell grants, state grants, Stockton 8 grants that you can qualify for. These are all based on need-based grants. So the first thing is merit scholarship. The second thing is need-based grants. And then the third option will be your loan. So whatever the scholarships and need-based grants do not cover, then you have different loans that you can choose from. And our financial aid department is a great resource for this. All right. So I'm going to take this opportunity to hand this over to Dr. Noel to talk a little bit more about the hospitality program. I just wanted to give you a brief, Stockton overview. So now, Dr. Noel, the floor is all yours.
Great, Enrico, thank you. So as he said, I am an associate professor in our hospitality program. So thank you again for joining us today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you now. And I want to kick it off because although we might all be experiencing this idea of a pandemic right now, it's an exciting time. And I hope that many of you that are considering a career in hospitality, and for my students that are already on this Zoom meeting with us today, is that you are going to have the power to really reshape how our industry is going to look post-COVID. And I want to start off with sharing a couple of basic details about our program with all of you today. And the first is that we are an accredited program. And this means that we have met certain criteria that only the top business schools have been able to achieve. And we're within that top 5 percentile. And as you start to specifically think about this idea of hospitality, tourism, and event management, you might ask yourself, well, what are some reasons that this would be a very attractive area to pursue and study? And I'm going to do just that. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should choose hospitality and tourism. And first, it really is a rapidly growing industry. So up until March, right, when we had to start practicing social distancing, hospitality and tourism were the fastest growing areas of employment across the entire world. Although we've seen some slowing down because of social distancing protocol, it is still highly active, and we anticipate a full recovery in the way that we do business. Number 2, what we have found across all regions, particularly in this area, if you're looking to stay here near the Atlantic City, Galloway, Atlantic County area, is that many regions that have and are considered to be hospitality and tourism districts are really lacking skills that are necessary to run these businesses. So what happens is there's a really large job market that's out there looking for talent, and especially talent that's coming out of a program that's going to be able to bring new ideas and new visions to the next generation of customer that we're seeing out there. If you like to travel, within hospitality and tourism, there's numerous opportunities to travel around the world. And that's whether you're focused on hotels or events, attractions, food and beverage. For myself, my career, I traveled for a majority of my entire career. In fact, I've been to nearly every single casino in the United States, as well as some international markets as part of my career. So it's a great way to experience not only the job that you're doing, but to experience other cultures. One of the biggest ones I want to point out is this idea of transferable skills. So when a lot of people think about hospitality, tourism, and event management, at first they say, oh, well, that's a food server. You don't need to go to school to do that. That is a very rudimentary definition of what hospitality is. And there are so many things that you can do with this degree, because the skills that you're going to learn, and I'm going to talk about this more when we go in depth into the program, it focuses all on your ability to manage and to lead. And how do you start to acquire and apply some of those things that are really necessary to drive a service-related industry? And not only here in the United States, but from a global position as well. So this idea of transferable skills becomes really attractive. And what you'll find is that whether you are a student that was considering majoring in business, general business, marketing, or hospitality, all of the core requirements are the same. And that just shows you how similar some of the components are. And then I'll talk about how dynamic our program is and what makes us really stand out. The last one I'm going to offer as to 5 reasons to choose hospitality is that we get to embrace a variety of subjects. Even in our title, you have hospitality, which is different, you have tourism, which is different, and you have events, which is different. And one of the great things is that Stockton is a liberal arts university. We truly believe in the intersectionality and the synergies that come out of knowing a variety of things around you, whether it's communication, whether it's something in social sciences, it could even be in the School of Natural Sciences. But how do we start to bring those together? And that's what's really awesome about our major, is that you're able to do things like that. And even myself at Stockton, I might sit as a professor in the School of Business. I also get to teach a general studies class that's all about farm to table and organic. So there's lots of different connections, and it makes it for a very interesting career. So I want to go through a couple of our key program requirements, as well as what differentiates us from other hospitality schools. And I want to start with our vision and our mission. And it really is all about you. We want you to engage and to be inspired by the learning opportunities that we're going to provide you. And through the faculty, myself included, our own industry connections to help you build credibility, networking, and really build some partnerships as you start to progress from student into your career. And our overall mission of our program is that through your active learning, your internship experience, which we're going to talk to you about today, is that you're going to be empowered with a higher level of passion, knowledge, skills, that you're going to leave Stockton a competitive leader in the market. And that's really important, because that is the core of our program and what differentiates us from other programs. So a couple of things generally about curriculum. We can also show you online in our hospitality, tourism, and event management webpage, where we have curriculum sheets available. But the basic is that first, you're going to have 7 core business courses. This is where it is our accreditation requirements. So whether you're a general business student, you're within our HTMS program, or you're in something else within the School of Business, these 7 core classes are the same. These focus on things such as statistics, financial management, marketing principles, and ethics. We then go into something that makes us really, really unique. And our internship coordinator, Tara Marsh, is going to be talking to you a little bit about it today, is we have 4 experiential learning courses. And this is really the bread and butter of our program. This is where you build a competitive edge that not many students in other programs get. And this is where we start to combine your professional work experience, meaning you getting exposure out there in the industry, you then having the opportunity to practice, apply, and learn different skills as part of your internship and career development in order to be successful as you graduate. We then have 6 core courses as part of our program. These core courses cover everything in food and beverage, hotel operations, and event management and tourism. So what you're going to find is whatever area you might be interested within our program, you're still going to get fundamental knowledge of everything that we offer. And that also makes you so much more dynamic. And from there, you get to pick 4 electives. So this is where you get to customize the program, the things that you might be interested in. And I'll show you just how to do that. So one of the amazing things here at Stockton that I'm excited to share with you is that we have now 4 areas of interest that you can focus on, and this is where your electives come in. And although you don't have to pick an area of interest, you can stay generalized. We do have the ability for you to start to focus in specific areas based on your passion. Our signature program at our Atlantic City campus is our event planning and event management. We have tourism, restaurant and beverage management, and resort management. And typically how this works in area of interest is that each of you will be assigned an advisor. Your advisor will go through and focus on 2 of the required courses that need to go into for you to get the area of interest, as well as flexibility to select an additional 2. So although you still get to focus on an area that you like, there's still ability to customize it to make sure that you're fully prepared to pursue the career that you're interested in. Since this is focused on hospitality, tourism, and event management, but specifically those of you, hopefully you're interested in event management, we have really an all-star curriculum at Stockton. And outside of going into catering management, event sales, and marketing, we are only one of 4 universities in the United States. So that's a pretty exciting number for me, 1 of 4, to offer a class in event design. And as part of this program, which I'm hoping that maybe our students that are going to chat today will share a little bit of that with you, is that you have an opportunity to participate in what we call the Event Design Young Professionals Program, which is in collaboration with an international company called Event Design Collective. And it is a credential that is endorsed by MPI, which is Meeting Planners International, which is the largest affiliation that supports meeting planners in the industry. And not only do you take this class for credit, you then get this certificate. And it's really dynamic. It absolutely will set you above your peers getting this credential. And then we even continue in our general studies requirements. We also have classes focused on this idea of events, such as bucket list events that's getting kicked off this summer, where you get to explore over 35 different events here in the United States, as well as in the international market, and live entertainment in Atlantic City, which you get to take a look and really explore some of the history, culture, and entertainment that we've seen across the spectrum in Atlantic City. So I know that Enrico talked about he's never had a student that's been bored. Well, I would hope not, because within our hospitality program, although this is open to all students, is we have 2 student-led organizations. The first one is the Hospitality and Tourism Society, and they do lots of great activities where they partner with alumni, industry professionals to bring you a variety of different experiences, as well as the Stockton Student Event Planners, who they're called Eventive, and they plan and schedule events across the entire campus. And one of their signature events is actually planning, when you come back as an alumni, your celebratory party to enjoy and catch up and network. So lots of great opportunities to get involved. As you think about making this big decision, right? Where do you want to go to school? It's not only about your major, it's also about the faculty and what are the faculty going to be able to share and bring with you. And as you start to look, we currently have the faculty that are present in our program, as well as Tara Marsh, who teaches in our program. And each and every one of us has a very strong and diverse background, whether it's domestically or internationally. Each and every one of us are very highly engaged with students and function as club advisors for many of the clubs, not only Hospitality Society, Eventive, and the Great Outdoors Club. We actually have a professor in our program that supports that. So we like to engage with each and every one of you, and we have a vested interest to do so. We want to see you excel, and we want to help you along your journey. And on top of that, many of us sit on local and industry-specific boards. We also stay current and relevant by publishing and being involved, and both from an educator's perspective as well as an industry perspective in numerous activities. So that's our general program. I now want to turn it over to Tara Marsh, who is going to talk a little bit about our internship requirements. Tara, can I pass that on to you?
Absolutely. I'm ready.
And I guess, Tara, I think you can still see my screen. So would you like me to just move that for you?
Yeah, if you could bring up the internship slides there, that'd be great.
And there's Tara.
So guys, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and hear from us and everything that we have to share with you about our exciting program at Stockton. One thing I want to share that I'm very proud of is that I am an alumni of this program. I graduated a number of years ago. It looked a little bit different. It was a concentration under the business school. And then in the last 10, 12 years, it's become a full-on major within the school. So it's very exciting to see how this particular major has grown so much across the university. And I went through the program, had the opportunity, did an internship myself. I did a couple of internships, worked in the industry for 9 years as an event planner. So, we're focusing kind of on that event side today. And that's where a lot of students, when they come into the program, express their interest, but we also have those other areas for you too. And then I like to call it my full circle, in that I was able to come back just 4 years ago when we changed a little bit of how our program looked and essentially how the internship looked. And now I get to work with you guys in a full-time perspective of helping you with your internships. And this is a requirement for our program. So it's one of very few majors across Stockton University that has a required internship for its program, something that you need to complete in order to graduate. You can see here on my screen, there are a number of internships, and this may look like a lot, but this is really a small number here of just some examples. Disney, you see there with the Mickey Mouse ears. Disney is one of the top Disney college program. A lot of students want to go to that, want to be able to do that and use that for their internship, which you absolutely can do. One thing that we talk about and we kind of highlight with regards to our internship is it's an anytime, anywhere course. It is a 4-credit course that you take. You typically take this course somewhere either at the tail end of your junior year or somewhere during your senior year. It is what we consider to be a capstone level course, a higher level course within the program. And you go through some requirements before you get there, which I'll touch on shortly. But the thing with this internship is it gives you the valuable industry experience that you need, that helps you build your resume, that gives you those skills and the transferable skills and the things that Dr. Naylor mentioned in her part of the presentation. And it really builds up your resume for when you're getting ready to go out into the industry. And we pretty much target it and put it into the spot that it goes, because a lot of times students will take this in their last semester of the program and essentially go into a position that they know will launch their career. They are going to get an offer after they do their internship and they use it for this requirement, and then they start out in the industry. And so what happens here is we go through a process. You can start as early as you meeting with me as the internship coordinator, talking about your interests. What part of the industry do you want to go into? Maybe you've worked in restaurants, but you've always wanted to try out hotels. And we go through that and we kind of start to target some ideas. And what I like to say is I kind of give the students the tools then to get themselves ready. The one thing that we have a career fair that takes place every fall and spring on our semester on our main campus in Galloway. And a large percentage of employers that come to this career fair are hospitality based. Now, they come a lot from the remote area, but that does not mean that there aren't opportunities outside of the state. And so what that is you get the opportunity, you have to come dressed professionally, you bring your resume, you get to network with employers, start to make those connections and look at opportunities for when it's time to go for your internship. And at that point, you're probably getting ready for this. You've done a couple of requirements prior to going into the internship course. When you come in as either a freshman or a transfer student, you do what is called a professional work experience. So the professional work experience is a 0-credit course that we do in our program. And this shows that you've worked in some capacity within the industry and you've started to get, obviously, a knowledge of what it's about. this becomes a stepping stone, or what we call a prerequisite to the internship course, the 4-credit course that I'm talking about. You also take another course somewhere in your sophomore, maybe your junior year. It's another 4-credit course called career development. And career development is a very interesting course, and a lot of times students find it to be a little more challenging than some of your regular courses, because you're learning so much about yourself as an employee and how you work in the environment and in the industry. You work on resumes, you tailor up your resume, you work on these networking skills, these interviewing skills, and things like that. And then you're required to go to the career fair and begin to obviously network with the employers. Once you've completed those 2 requirements and you've completed about 80 credits in the major, you get ready for the internship course. So I failed to mention, during the professional work experience, you do what is 400 required hours. Once you get into the internship course, which is the 4-credit, and it's an online course, and the reason we make it the online course is to give you the opportunity to go anywhere outside of the state. An example, like I said, somewhere down in Florida with Disney World, or across the US and Disneyland out in California. With this course, you do 225 hours. The reason this changes a little bit is because you're working on the hours themselves, and you're in the industry, and you might be working at a higher level. You may be somewhat of a manager or considered a managerial level employee. And then you're also working on online components that you're doing with the course, and you're working on an overall arching project for the course. So basically what it breaks down to is, once you've gone through either 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, however it looks, if you're coming in as a freshman or a transfer student into our program, you are going to complete the 400 hours under professional work experience and the 225 hours under the internship itself. And you are going to leave our program with no less than 625 hours of experience. I can tell you from the employer perspective, which I have a lot of relationships with employers for internships and opportunities for students, and I share that with our students, and we go through our career center and we put it out there and everything through our Handshake platform, which is a job posting board that we have on campus. Our employers love the fact that our students have so many hours of experience within the industry. And another thing I can tell you too, and I'm sure you know this, even looking at programs and thinking about going through school, and maybe you're going to support yourself economically as well, is you are probably going to have more than 625 hours, because a lot of students will work in a lot of different capacities throughout their program. And again, looking at this with an internship, I support you through the entire process. So I like to think that I have the opportunity to meet with every student that goes through our program. And we can meet as soon as you start, even if you started as a freshman in the fall, just to figure out where you want to go.
Great. Thank you, Tara. So this is really the part you've really been waiting for, because you want to hear it from your peers. And I'd like to introduce, and maybe we can give them a congratulations, because as of today, they have all just earned their certificate and are now considered a young professional event designer. So I know that we have Kathleen, Michael, and Nicole. And unfortunately, Kathleen was actually joining us from work, and I think she may have had to drop off. But I'd like to have, if I can ask Michael and Nicole, if you guys can share a little bit about you, why you chose Stockton and the hospitality program, and maybe share some of either your favorite courses or experiences with some of these students considering our program.
So I am a junior. I'll be finishing a semester early, so I will actually be done in December. I will be doing my internship this summer, hopefully with everything passing through. But I picked hospitality because I was always into parties and events and just planning them overall. So I want to specifically get into weddings. I love the brides and the whole aspect of it and everything. So pretty much I got to take all of the classes, like the a young professional event design class, which I absolutely love. I got to see a whole different part of events that I never really thought of before. And I also, one of my favorite classes I took was food and beverage, advanced food and beverage, which I got to do an entire semester in a kitchen. So completely cooking, hands-on. We got to cook 4 faculty members, which was awesome. You learn the front end and the back end of a restaurant, which I never thought I'd be able to do. So I absolutely loved that.
No, thank you, Nicole. I guess we'll pass it over to Michael.
All right, so I'm Mike. I transferred to Stockton in 2018 from OCC. I'm a senior and I'm graduating next year and take my internship over the summer. And I came over to the hospitality program because I really like the field in general. It's a very fun field. You get to do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do. You're not just stuck in an office generally. You're always outside doing something, whether it's events, food and bev, hotels. I would say like my big thing for me would be food and bev and events. Those are my 2 favorite. And the event design course is very good that Professor Naylor did.
All right, well, we appreciate everyone's time today. This is my contact information and Tara Marsh. We're more than willing and happy to answer any additional questions. We want to thank you, and we hope you'll consider applying with us and joining us on our major. Not only do we like to have a lot of fun, as Nicole said, the parties and the events, but we absolutely love to engage in a variety of activities. And each and every faculty member is dynamically committed to each and every student that's in our program. So again, thank you for your time. We at Stockton wish you and your families to be safe and healthy. And we hope that we get to see you in person real soon. So from the School of Business and Hospitality, thank you.